Hi, I'm Shoulder Bones, and I just wanted to have a quick discussion on working with the Black Mother Goddess. And I think she's great, and I think all aspects of the Black Mother are great. It's a tricky energy, some people say, to work with. It's quite foreboding, dark, formidable, and not very forgiving at times. Some people say things like that, and I guess there's truth in that. There's also, it's a powerful path working. I think that she's certainly irreplaceable in the sense that, you know, that the love and the wisdom and the nurturing and the self-love that I think that's conjured in the presence of the Dark Mother is quite exquisite. And I just wanted to touch on that briefly today. I'm going to give her no service really whatsoever, and having a brief discussion on a very small aspect of working with, you know, the High Queen of Night, basically, such an exalted God form. And I wanted to talk about this topic because it's come up in a couple of conversations I've had this week with practitioners and people that are not familiar with magic, and it's about it's not so much about self-preservation, which I was going to say. It's actually about the difficulty that that we have maybe as humans about self-acceptance, and self-acceptance for me is you know, I suppose I'm no psychologist, but I guess like we learn very young about self-acceptance, or it starts being stripped away from us maybe when we're very young, depending on, you know, who's taking care of us when we're very little, and maybe about, you know, like what role models we have when we're very young. And then maybe for some of us, you know, as we get older, you know, we're either trying to process what that early experience was and make meaning of it, or you know, we're trying to reframe and recreate a different past so that the now and the future unfolds in a different way than what we've become accustomed to, or we don't want to replay. And for me, being you know, a practitioner that reveres the gods, that works with the Black Mother, that she's my patron. One face in particular of the Black Mother Goddess is my patron. What I've come to know and what I've come to experience in serving her and working with her and being, you know, her witch, if you like, is the ability of the Black Mother to absolutely show not a flicker of disapproval in any part of the human condition, that the human condition is so accepted, if you like. It's like being on a psychiatric ward and seeing the different guises of madness or psychoses that any of us could experience at any given time in our life, given the right conditions. The Black Mother is comfortable there. She's comfortable in all aspects of the human psyche, from birth to death and everything in between, and any kind of car crash or mudslide, or, you know, sliding down off the wall in some drug-hazed mess. The Black Mother accepts all of that, and there's no judgment or cruelty or nightmares imposed on. And I think that when you touch the Black Mother, or when you work with the Black Mother, or you create this reverence for or inspiring grace of her, when you become her witch, when you become even just someone that may just clock into that energy and clock out again for a certain task, then I believe, for me in particularly, that the grace that's imbued from that experience is self-acceptance, because of the acceptance received from the Black Mother. And that, I believe, can replace, in a kind of psychodynamic way, can replace maybe the early beginnings of something that was different. So what I'm trying to say is that if there's been stuff that you're trying to pick up and trying to work with from your past and then create anew, then, you know, I see very strongly that the gods that we align with, or the archetypes that, you know, that we're cut from that cloth, that who we line up with, who we end up as our patrons, who we work with in covens or in different bodies of work and modalities. I think there's a real place in that is about reframing our lives, and that what they gift us is such a beautiful way to create our reality and our life and take it forward. And I think that, you know, when you look around at your friends and you look around at other practitioners and different gods they serve, or different archetypes or different expressions of being, maybe they're not magical. When you look at it from an archetypal point of view, I find it incredibly interesting, because the way that they express themselves and maybe their earlier needs that maybe weren't met or were stripped down from them in some way, and then you see how they're moulding their lives and what they align to. I think it's a beautiful thing when we see that life's quite fluid, and that the energies that we line up with and that we choose to work with can be so balancing for us in so many different ways. And it's not just about magic, is it? It's about the love we feel for ourselves. It's about creating the life that we want. It's about waking up in the morning and be so frigging glad to be alive, and to you know, have an open heart, or, you know, an open mind, or be really horny for your life, and, you know, trusting that everything's okay and everything's well, and you know, even if things could be better, because, you know, maybe things could always be better, but even if things could be better, that, you know, that it's also that it's okay, you know, that things are going to be better. You still have hope and you still have dreams, and I think that, you know, some people can see some God forms that they're not familiar with, that they don't want to work with, as being difficult. And of course, you know, some energies are easier to work with, absolutely. And I think that what maybe when we see that someone works with an energy that maybe we fear or that we don't like, what that could be a part of is all the stuff that's unseen. And the unseen stuff is about what energy that person holds, what the person that serves that God. You may not be privy to their life history, you may not know what archetypal energy that they may be cut from, and so it, you know, in some way maybe things always make sense, but we don't always on the surface understand them or see where people are going with that. And I think that there's lots of things that people serve in life and that we don't understand, and maybe it's fulfilling some kind of unmet need, or it's fulfilling something, and unless we, you know, have x-ray vision into everything, we couldn't possibly know. And I think that's why, you know, I've mentioned it a couple of times in other videos, that I believe strongly that in my style of working with magic, that all things could be a medicine, all things could be helpful, and all things could be good given the right circumstance or situation or the right person. And so therefore it's probably not best to judge things as being good or bad or negative and positive. It's probably best just to see, you know, that maybe there's things that we can't see, or there's not an overview that we have at a certain given amount of time, or a certain space and time, that someone may be getting something from that's really helpful to them and really healing. And, you know, obviously some stuff's not, but who are we to say? Who are we to say? So yeah, the Black Mother, you know, I just think, you know, in the West doesn't necessarily get the best deal from a lot of people. Don't, you know, say stuff about the Black Mother and say that, you know, that she's quite dangerous and stuff to work with, and I just think, you know, well, you know, that could be sort of like cutting off a massive power source there that's just so wise and so beautiful, and obviously in the East is so revered, and for good reason. So, you know, that's pretty much all I wanted just to touch on today, really, just about how things may not be as they appear, and that anything could be a medicine given the right situation. That's it. Thank you.